On record at 3:44 p.m.
Would counsel approach real quick, please, just real quick.
Sidebar conference conducted.
I just wanted to let you know my thoughts about we're gonna be done like at 5:30 today, okay?
We have 2 witnesses.
Okay. Will that get us to 5:30, or will that get us past 5:30?
If we do one inaudible,
Yeah.
that'll get us closer to 5.
Okay. Well, why don't we play it by ear?
I think that those 2 will be similar to
this?
the last one.
Okay. Very good.
Sidebar conference concluded.
All right. You may call your next witness. Unidentified individual sneezes. God bless you.
We need the jury.
Oh, that would help. Thank you, yeah. Thank you, Mr. Rozzi. That would help if we had a jury.
All rise.
Jury in at 3:47 p.m.
Thank you. You may be seated.
Thank you, gentlemen. Ms. Diener, you may call your next witness.
The state would call Breann Wilber.
Witness sworn.
Breann, could you please state your full name and spell your first and last name?
Breann Wilber, BRNNWLBR.
Okay, that's pretty good, but I'm gonna need you to talk a little bit louder, okay?
Okay.
In 2017, were you a student at Delphi High School?
Yes.
And do you remember what grade you were in or how old you were?
I would have been 16 in 10th grade.
At that time, did you know Abby or Libby?
I knew Libby.
And how did you know her?
I knew her through Kelsey German.
And what was your association with Kelsey?
She was one of my best friends.
Okay. And did you use social media back in 2017?
I did.
Do you remember what your primary social media application was?
I used Snapchat.
And how would you use Snapchat?
You would go on it and take pictures of yourself or what you were doing, and then you can send it to friends or post it to a story for everyone to see that you're friends with.
Did you have Abby or Libby in your Snapchat friend list?
Libby was a friend.
And on Monday, February 13th of 2017, do you recall that that was a day you did not have school?
Correct.
And did you go to the Monon High Bridge Trail that day?
I did.
Was that a place that you visited often?
It was.
And would you go alone or with friends or both?
I would typically go with friends, never alone.
Was it within walking distance of your home?
It was.
And is that how you would get there?
Yes.
Did you go there on February 13th of 2017 with friends or alone?
With friends.
And who did you go with?
I went with Rayleigh and Anna.
And tell us about the events leading up to you and Rayleigh going to the High Bridge.
I was at my house. She came over, 'cause we lived in close proximity, and then we both agreed that we were gonna go take some pictures on her camera, and then we walked over.
Were you a person that would cross the High Bridge?
No.
Would you go out on the bridge at all?
Maybe 1 or 2 steps.
Okay. And we have a large map here, and can you show us how you would?
Do you want me to get up and...
Yep. You can step down.
You need to stand to the side, so that the jury can see what you're.
Sorry.
Thank you.
My house was over on the other side, right where that gravel patch is, and then we walked up that way and then over Freedom Bridge, and then go down the trail to get to High Bridge.
So you're following this path in the middle of the...
Correct.
Map?
Affirmative response.
When you went to the High Bridge that day, do you remember seeing any other people?
There were a few people, not at the High Bridge, but as we were walking the path we saw some people.
When you got to the High Bridge, what did you do?
We took some pictures and then we just chatted. We didn't do anything crazy. We didn't cross the bridge, just took pictures.
Did you post anything on your Snapchat to indicate that you were at the high bridge?
I did.
And did you do that using your Snapchat application?
I did.
And then, after you're at the high bridge, what did you do?
After we were at the high bridge, we were getting ready to leave and went the same path back.
And did you see any people on your way back?
We saw a few people, yeah.
Okay. And did you take any pictures on your way back?
We did.
Was there one in particular that would have been your last photo on your way home?
Leading.
Could she finish the question?
Was there a last photo you took before you left the trail?
Overruled. You can answer.
Yeah.
And you provided those photos to law enforcement, did you not?
I did.
And you provided them with a timestamp from your Snapchat app, did you not?
I did. I did.
May I approach the witness, Judge?
You may.
Ms. Wilber, I'm going to show you what's marked as State's Exhibit 211. Take a look at it. There's 4 pages. Do you recognize those?
I do.
And do they accurately represent photographs from your Snapchat application, along with the timestamp data from your phone?
They do.
State would move to admit Exhibit 11 to 211 and publish it to the jury. State's Exhibit 211 offered.
No objection.
All right. Without objection, 211 is admitted and you may publish.
Ms. Wilber, would H. Avang the pictures assist you in testifying about the photographs, when they were taken, and what the corresponding Snapchat data tells us? Would it help you to see the pictures?
Yeah. Thank you.
So on the first page, describe your photo and tell us when you took that photo.
The first photo is a picture of High Bridge stating, back, because I was there previously on other days. The picture was taken at 12:43 on February 13th, 2017.
And you saved that photograph from that day?
Yes.
And then, the third page, which is your second photo, can you describe that photo and when it was taken based on your testimony as to your time on the High Bridge Trail?
This photo was taken after we had already been to High Bridge, when we were on our way back. It was taken on one of the benches at 1:26 on February 13th, 2017.
After the picture was taken at the bench, did you see people on your way out of High Bridge Trail to town?
Yes. We saw maybe 1 or 2 people on our way out.
And was there anyone that caught your attention on your way out?
Yes.
And can you describe why that person caught your attention?
Because it was a warmer day on February and they were dressed in what looked like many layers with a kind of heavier jacket, which I thought as kind of strange. Also, with the way that he was walking, kind of like he was with a purpose, knew where he was going. Also, rarely, when we were with her, she was saying hi to everybody and everyone was saying hi back, 'cause we're all a good community here. When she said hi to this person that we passed, there was no hesitation in him stopping and saying hi, and it just kind of gave me weird vibes.
And so you proceed back to town, is that correct?
Yes.
Later that day, do you, or actually, during that day at all, do you learn that Libby is going to the High Bridge Trail?
Yes.
And how do you learn that?
As we were walking back, she messaged me on one of my pictures on Snapchat and asked if we were still there.
And would that be one of the pictures that you took from that day on Snapchat?
Yes.
And so explain to the jury how it happens that she messages you on your picture.
If someone is looking at your story, when they click on it, the picture pops up and you are able to slide up and then type something related to the picture and it will send to whoever posted the picture.
And so was Libby in your friend list so that she could see your Snapchat story?
Yes.
And is your Snapchat story something that is exclusive to people that you select?
Yes, to friends only.
And so did you receive this message from Libby before you left the trail? And when I say left, I'm saying past Freedom Bridge.
Yes, we were still on the trail when she messaged me.
Okay. And when you responded, what did you say?
I told her no, that we had just left maybe 10 minutes ago.
And so when you were saying 10 minutes ago, Are you referring specifically to High Bridge or just the trail in general?
To High Bridge.
Okay. Later that day, did you learn that Abby and Libby were missing?
Yes.
And do you remember how you learned that?
Yes.
What do you remember?
We were at home, it was me and Kelsey's grandma had tried to contact her, and that is how we found out.
Okay. And at some point then, are you asked to talk to the police because you had been on the High Bridge Trail that day?
Later that evening, yes.
And did you give a statement in response to questions about people that you saw on the trail?
Yes.
And did you give a statement about the person that you saw as you were leaving the trail that you said was a bit off?
Yes.
And what were you able to tell law enforcement?
I informed them that this person was walking kind of with a purpose. He had something that seemed to have maybe been covering his nose or mouth, but his head was also kind of tucked down. I wasn't able to see much hair. I don't know if his hood was down or if he had a hat on. He had a blue or black jacket with blue pants on.
And after the next day, did you learn that Abby and Libby were deceased?
Yes.
Following that day, did you see on television or social media an image of a person denoted as Bridge Guy?
Yes.
And did you have any thoughts about that particular person?
When I saw the image, the first thing that went into my head was that was the person that we passed on the trail.
Okay. I'm going to show you what's marked as States Exhibit 210. Is that the image you would have seen in media or on the news?
Yes.
And is that the IMAG that you believed was the person that you saw on the trail?
Yes.
Can you come down to the map and show us where the last picture was taken that you indicated was at 1:26 p.m.?
It would have been about right in this area, indicates, 'cause in the back of the picture there is a green building with a green roof.
Okay. And you can see that in the back of your photograph, and that's what you used for reference?
Yes.
How long after that photograph of the bench, so you're on this trail?
Indicates.
Yes.
How long after your photograph with that building in the background did you run into the Bridge Guy going past you?
I don't know an exact time, but I do know that we were still in the woods. I'd say around this area, 'cause it was still very woody. Indicates, we weren't getting to the point where we could see the highway or hear it.
Okay. And if you were walking out of the trail toward town, which way was the Bridge Guy walking?
Bridge Guy was walking this way, indicates, 'cause we were walking that way. Indicates.
And as far as the timestamp on your phone, were you set to Indiana local time?
Yes.
And so your timestamp would have been accurate as to the time of day?
Yes.
I'll pass the witness.
Mr. Baldwin.
I want to spend some time talking about this guy that you say creeped you out.
Affirmative response.
Yes.
Yes.
You gotta say, yes, so that their court's clear.
Yes.
I might have to do that more often. So this is the guy that you say creeped you out?
Yes.
All right. Now, the height of that guy that creeped you out was, he stood as high, you stood as high as his upper forearm, is that correct?
I'm not, can you reword that?
Sure. You've described this man's height is that you stood as high as his.
At the time, that's what I guessed at. I was going off of just kind of general height of my family and height-wise, but it was a quick pass-by.
So he was a taller guy.
Correct.
Correct?
Correct.
Thank you. That's the guy that creeped you out that's on that photo?
Correct.
He was a muscular guy.
I'm unsure.
Okay. Do you remember giving a statement to police in August of 2020? Dave Vito was there, the talk was in the U.S. Marshal's office, do you remember that?
Yes.
Okay. Would it help refresh your memory if I asked you to review your words?
We can.
Okay. Great. I'm gonna hand that to you, have you look at page 22. Do you guys have that? Need that?
What are you referring to?
To her August 22nd, 2020, statement.
I have her deposition.
Please turn to page 22. I'm looking at line 16, but you can read as much context as you want.
Okay.
Does that refresh your recollection?
From this, yes.
You said he was muscular.
Yep.
Younger guy.
I'm unsure.
You told police. Did you tell the police that he was in his early 30s?
Was that in 2020's interview?
Yes.
I may have if it's in there. That was 3 years later.
Okay. So is your memory bad 3 days, 3 years later when you talked to the police?
Given at the time I was 16, at that point, in 2020, I was around 1920s.
I understand. He wore a zip-up windbreaker jacket, is that correct?
I do remember that.
Not a heavy jacket, one of those windbreaker jackets.
Yes.
And he had his hood was on and, he had a hoodie and it was on, he was wearing it over his head.
He had something on his head, 'cause I wasn't able to see his hair.
There was a lot of other people on that trail that day.
There were a few other people, yes.
Did you see a guy on the trail that day that looked to be around 20 and had brown, poofy hair, by chance?
I don't recall.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Ms. Diener.
Ms. Wilber, referring you back to the photographs you identified as the person you saw. Did anyone look like this other than the person that you saw after the bench picture and before you left the trail?
No.
No other questions, Judge.
Mr. Baldwin.
Nothing. Thank you.
Does anybody on the jury have any questions for Ms. Wilber?
No response or indication from any juror.
All right. Thank you, Ms. Wilber. You may step down.
Thank you.
Judge, may I release this witness from her subpoena?
Any objection?
No.
And you are free to go. Thank you. You may call your next witness. You may call your next witness.